In a village where the sky seemed to touch the earth and traditions were as ancient as the baobab trees, there lived a woman named Amina. She was beautiful and wise, with eyes that reflected deep understanding and a laugh that could warm even the sternest heart. Despite her charm, Amina was still single and longed for a husband. Frustrated by her loneliness, she sought the oracle, Nia, an elderly woman who communicated with the ancestors. In a hut filled with the scent of herbs and old scrolls, Nia told Amina, "Your fate is unique. The man who fathers your child will become the ruler of this village and will bring great prosperity." Encouraged by this prophecy, Amina decided on a bold plan. She would sleep with every eligible man in the village to find her destined husband and ensure a prosperous future for her people. As months passed, the village buzzed with gossip about Amina's unconventional search. Finally, Amina became pregnant, her growing belly a living sign of the prophecy. With her due date approaching, tension rose as families with eligible sons each claimed the unborn child as their own, eager to secure the future chieftainship. When Amina gave birth to a healthy baby boy, the village celebrated, but the real challenge was just beginning. Determining the father of the child, elders convened, families argued, and warriors sharpened their weapons, all trying to figure out who the father was. The village was on the edge of conflict, and only the true father's identification could bring peace. Amidst the chaos, Amina remained calm, confident that the prophecy would come true, holding her newborn son, Tariq, who symbolized a new era for the village. She awaited the revelation that would determine the future of her people. A week after Tariq's birth, the Council of Elders gathered under the oldest baobab tree, a symbol of their authority. Osei, the eldest among them, addressed the group. "Our ancestors have always guided us in times of need. We must seek their wisdom to resolve this crisis." At that moment, Oracle Nia appeared, her eyes glowing with an almost supernatural light. "I have spoken with the ancestors," she said, her voice captivating and serene. "They propose a test to determine not only the father of Tariq, but also the future leader of our village." The elders listened intently as Nia explained. The test involves a journey to the sacred mountain. At its peak lies a moonstone, a sacred relic infused with ancestral wisdom. The man who returns with the stone will be revealed as the true father and the destined ruler. A collective gasp echoed through the council. The sacred mountain was known for its dangers, wild animals, difficult terrain, and spiritual trials. However, the elders knew there was no other option. After a moment of reflection, Osei declared, "So it shall be. Each claimant will set out at dawn 3 days from now. May the ancestors guide us." With that, the council dispersed, and the village was filled with anticipation and a mix of emotions. Excitement, fear, and hope intertwined like threads in a complex tapestry. Amina, holding Tariq close, felt a serene confidence settle over her. The ancestors had set the stage, and now the men had to prove their worth. However, she could not predict the surprising revelations that the journey to the sacred mountain would bring. Revelations that would transform the village in ways no one had imagined. As dawn broke 3 days later, an expectant silence filled the village. The air was thick with the aroma of burning sage as incense drifted from every home, seeking the ancestors' blessings for the journey ahead. In the village square, 6 men stood, each representing a different family claiming Tariq as their own. Their faces reflected a mix of eagerness, fear, and palpable excitement. Amina, holding Tariq, watched them quietly. Her gaze met each of theirs, conveying a silent wish. "May the best man win." With the sound of a horn and the rhythm of drums, the journey began. Each man carried a satchel of offerings, kola nuts, palm wine, and sacred amulets to honor the spirits of the sacred mountain. The path was fraught with challenges, rivers winding like serpents, forests whispering secrets, and caves echoing with the laughter of forgotten souls. But the true test awaited at the base of the sacred mountain. There, a stone altar stood, inscribed with ancient runes depicting tales of heroes and gods, love and betrayal. Beside the altar was a pool of water so clear it mirrored their deepest fears and desires. As the men approached the altar, a voice echoed around them, a voice so ethereal it seemed to come from the mountain itself. Offer what you value most, and you may proceed. One by one, the men stepped up to the altar. Some offered gold, others heirlooms of their ancestors. But nothing changed. The way to the peak remained closed, as if mocking their attempts. Finally, it was Django's turn. Though not the wealthiest or the strongest, Django was known for his wisdom and humility. Instead of placing an object on the altar, he knelt and offered a prayer for the village, for Amina, and for the future generations. As he finished, the altar began to glow with a soft, radiant light, and the path to the peak opened as if summoned by his sincerity. The other men watched in awe and humility as Django led the way. The journey up the sacred mountain felt different now, lighter and more meaningful. Every step was a blend of physical challenge and spiritual insight. The men's breaths grew shorter, but their senses sharpened. Each rock and gust of wind seemed imbued with ancestral wisdom. Finally, they reached the peak, where the night sky seemed close enough to touch, stars twinkling as witnesses to this historic moment. There lay the Moonstone, glowing softly in the moonlight, pulsating with the heartbeat of the mountain itself. Django approached the stone, his hands trembling as he touched its cool surface. The Moonstone's glow intensified, becoming a radiant beam that shot up into the sky and returned as a cascade of light that enveloped him. A celestial voice echoed, "Son of Kofi, you have proven your worth. This child is yours, and you are destined to lead your people." Overcome with emotion, Django fell to his knees. The men who had accompanied him stood in silence, their previous envy and rivalry dissolved, humbled and awed by the revelation. As they descended the mountain, the village appeared below, bathed in the soft glow of dawn. The men felt changed, transformed not only by the revelation, but also by the journey itself. It was as if they had shed layers of ignorance and ego, revealing new depths of wisdom and humility. Upon arriving, they found the entire village assembled, a sea of anxious and expectant faces. Django stepped forward, holding the Moonstone high for all to see. "The ancestors have spoken," he announced. "I am the father of Tariq, and it is my destiny to lead this village." A collective gasp followed, quickly turning into cheers and ululations. The elders nodded in approval, their faith in the ancestors' wisdom reaffirmed. Amina, with Tariq in her arms, approached Django. Their eyes met, and in that moment, all the complexities and struggles seemed to dissolve, leaving behind a pure, unspoken understanding. When Django took his son in his arms for the first time, the village erupted in joyous celebration. Yet Amina knew this was only the beginning. They had averted a crisis and possibly begun a new chapter in their history. The real work lay ahead, in raising a child destined for greatness and leading the village toward prosperity. With the Moonstone as their guiding light and ancestral wisdom in their hearts, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together. Several moons later, peace and prosperity seemed to have settled over the village, a testament to the prophecy. At least it seemed that way. One evening, while Amina nursed Tariq under the shade of their family hut, she overheard a conversation from behind the thick baobab tree near her home. "You've done well, Django. The village expects nothing, and the prophecy appears fulfilled. Nia, the oracle's raspy voice was unmistakable. My conscience is troubled, Nia. We have deceived the people who trust us, and I am raising a son who is not truly mine. Django's voice quivered with regret. Ah, but you will be a wise and kind ruler. Isn't that what's best for the village? A benevolent deception, I call it, Nia responded with a chilling casualness. Amina's heart sank. Betrayal, like a stealthy serpent, had slithered into her garden of trust. As she looked at Tariq, innocent and unaware, a new resolve formed within her. The villagers deserved to know the truth, especially when it came to their future leader. Her son, Tariq, deserved to understand his true heritage. But how could she expose this conspiracy without plunging the village into chaos once more? Amina knew she had to be cautious. The Moonstone, once a symbol of Django's legitimacy, now seemed like a lock to a secret that only the true father could reveal. As the village slept, unaware of the brewing storm, Amina began to formulate a plan. She would create a test so definitive that it would reveal the real father beyond any doubt. First, she needed to ensure the Moonstone's authenticity. If it was part of the deception, its mystical power might still point to the true father if subjected to a ritual known only to the most enlightened sages. Under the cover of night, Amina set out to consult the only person outside the village who could assist her, the hermit sage of the ebony forest. The journey was perilous, with hidden dangers and the ever-present darkness of the forest. But a mother's resolve is unyielding, especially when her child's future is at stake. Deep within the forest, where ancient trees seem to touch the sky, Amina finally arrived at the hermit sage's secluded dwelling. With a long, flowing beard and eyes full of ancient wisdom, the sage welcomed her with a knowing gaze. I have been expecting you, Amina, he said. The whispers of the forest have reached me, and your plight has not gone unnoticed. Steadying herself, Amina recounted her story, the birth of Tariq, the journey to the sacred mountain, and the overheard conspiracy between Django and Nia. I seek the truth, wise one, she concluded. Can the Moonstone still reveal Tariq's true father? The hermit sage stroked his beard thoughtfully. The Moonstone is indeed an ancient relic of truth. Though its power can be manipulated, it cannot be entirely corrupted. There exists a ritual, known only to me, that can cleanse the stone of deceptions. Amina's eyes sparkled with hope. What must I do? You must perform the ritual of truth on the night of the new moon, the sage explained. The Moonstone, when bathed in the sacred waters of the Whispering Lake and subjected to this ritual, will reveal only the true father. Armed with this knowledge, Amina thanked the sage and began her journey back to the village. Her heart raced with a mix of hope, fear, and anticipation. She arrived just before dawn, slipping back into her home unnoticed. Determined, she retrieved the Moonstone from its guarded sanctuary and prepared for the ritual of truth. The stakes were high. Success would unveil the truth to the village, but failure could jeopardize her reputation and the harmony of her community. As she laid Tariq back into his crib, she gazed at his serene, sleeping face, unaware of the storm brewing around him. The new moon was only 3 nights away, and Amina knew the outcome of the Moonstone's revelation would change everything. As the new moon approached, time seemed to compress, each moment fraught with potential revelation or disaster. Amina had discreetly acquired the Moonstone with the help of a sympathetic guard who believed in her quest. Now it lay hidden beneath the floorboards of her hut, pulsing with an air of expectancy. Finally, the night of the new moon arrived. With Tariq asleep and Django away at a council meeting, Amina seized her chance. She unearthed the Moonstone and set off towards the Whispering Lake, a secluded body of water known for its cleansing energies. Cloaked in darkness, Her heart raced with every step. At the lake, Amina began the ritual of truth. She submerged the Moonstone into the water, reciting the ancient incantations provided by the hermit sage. As the final words left her lips, the Moonstone glowed with a soft white light, illuminating the dark waters. A surge of energy seemed to flow through her, as if the spirits of the lake were affirming her efforts. With the Moonstone cleansed and empowered, Amina returned to the village, her steps shadowed by anticipation and dread. Tonight was the Feast of Ancestors, a night of celebration for the village. But for Amina, it would either mark her ultimate vindication or deep disgrace. As the villagers danced and sang, Amina stepped forward and revealed the Moonstone, claiming it had been further empowered by the spirits. For a special blessing, the crowd, buzzing with communal fervor and intrigue, eagerly awaited the spectacle. "Let each potential father hold the stone," Amina announced with unwavering resolve. "The true father of Tariq will activate its light." One by one, the men came forward, gripping the Moonstone tightly. Each attempt was met with disappointment as the stone remained inert, its light dim and unresponsive. The tension in the air grew palpable with each passing moment. Finally, it was Django's turn. The crowd held its collective breath as he took hold of the stone. It flickered briefly, but failed to illuminate fully. Murmurs swept through the crowd, escalating into exclamations of surprise and confusion. Before anyone could react, a voice erupted from the back of the gathering. "Wait! The stone speaks not just to the hands that hold it, but to the eyes that meet it. Amina, look upon the stone." It was Nia, her eyes gleaming with a mix of fear and excitement. Amina's gaze shifted from Django's face to the Moonstone. At that moment, the stone flickered violently and then went dark. Gasps filled the air and Django's face turned ashen. Amina's eyes met those of the crowd, and in that moment, it was clear that Django was not the true father. The silence was abruptly broken by Nia's maniacal laughter. "You see, even the best laid plans falter before the will of the spirits." In the wake of the failed ritual, the village was engulfed in a volatile mix of disbelief, anger, and urgent curiosity. The elders called for an immediate council meeting, its atmosphere charged with tension thicker than the humid night air. Nia was the first to speak, her voice laced with regret and revelation. "My fellow villagers, we've been entangled in a web of deceit. The spirits have spoken through the Moonstone. Django is not the true father. However, this should be a time of awakening, not division." The council erupted into a cacophony of arguments and accusations. Finally, the chief elder, Mbaka, rose, his age-old wisdom commanding silence. "Enough," he boomed. "The ancestral spirits are not pleased with our folly. We must seek the truth and not let division tear us apart." Turning to Amina, he said, "You've invoked the spirits and unearthed a terrible truth. What do you propose we do now?" Amina's voice was firm. "I propose another ritual, one that cannot be tampered with. Let every man in the village come forth and take an ancestral oath by the river of truth. There, they will declare their paternity, and the river, a divine witness, will reveal the true father." The council agreed, setting the ritual for the following dawn. No one slept that night. Their dreams were disturbed by whispers of scandal and winds of change. As the first light of dawn broke, the village gathered by the river of truth, its waters said to be blessed by the gods. One by one, the men took the ancestral oath, swearing their innocence or guilt. Finally, it was Django's turn. He stepped forward, his eyes meeting Amina's. In that brief connection, Amina saw a flicker of something, regret or perhaps a silent plea for forgiveness. Django dipped his hand into the river, solemnly reciting the oath. The waters around his hand turned ominously, but did not change color, a sign of a truthful oath. The crowd awaited a divine sign. Then, A cry erupted from the back of the gathering. All eyes turned to see a young man, Mazi, trembling as the waters around his submerged hand turned a radiant gold, the irrefutable sign of truth recognized in divine rituals. Mazi, son of Oko, Elder Mbaka announced, you are the true father of Tariq, as declared by the river of truth. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Mazi, one of the most reclusive men in the village, known for his quiet nature and detachment from communal affairs, stepped forward hesitantly. Amina's eyes met his, and in that brief connection, she saw flashes of integrity and sincerity, qualities she had yearned for but had not found until now. The revelation of Mazi as the true father shook the very foundations of the village. Murmurs echoed among the crowd as Mazi approached Amina and Tariq, his eyes full of humility and a quiet strength. Elder Mbaka stepped forward, his presence silencing the crowd. The river of truth has spoken. Mazi is the father, and we must honor this divine verdict, he said. He then turned to Django and Nia, his gaze sharp. As for those who led us astray, they shall face the council of elders for their actions. Mazi took his place beside Amina and Tariq. In that moment, Amina felt a new chapter in their lives beginning, one marked by honesty, respect, and love, values that had been sorely lacking in recent times. As the rightful father, I will do my best to live up to this responsibility, Mazi declared, his voice filled with genuine resolve. The villagers dispersed, their hearts and minds churning with a blend of relief, curiosity, and lingering doubt. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of anticipation for what was to come. It was clear that things would never be the same again. That evening, the Council of Elders convened an emergency session to discuss the fate of Django and Nia. The chamber was tense as the elders weighed their decision. Eventually, they reached a verdict. Django was stripped of his title and status, mandated to perform public service as a sign of atonement. Nia was banished from her role as oracle, her position to be filled by a new seer chosen through divine consultation. Both faced the village the next day, publicly apologizing for their deceit. There was a palpable air of disgrace around them, but also an undertone of tragedy, a reminder that even well-intentioned actions can lead to disastrous outcomes when they deviate from the path of truth. The prophetic words about Tariq being born to lead seemed to materialize as the village prospered in unexpected ways. Crops yielded more, disputes among villagers lessened, and a newfound unity took root. Even Django, humbled by his public disgrace, sought redemption through sincere atonement. Nia, though stripped of her title, began a quiet life of reflection, her wisdom no longer mingled with manipulation. In a village shaken to its core, a new dawn emerged, brighter, wiser, and full of promise. While challenges would undoubtedly arise, the community had been fortified by the irreplaceable virtues of truth and unity. Amina, Mazi, and Tariq stood on the threshold of a promising new life, their hearts aligned with the enduring wisdom that truth, once revealed, has the power to heal and herald a brighter future. Thank you for following this intriguing tale. Sometimes the path to truth is twisted and steep, but it's a journey worth taking, for the truth sets us free. If you enjoyed this story, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on more captivating stories like this one.